Tonight, COVID updates.
And what's happening in Whitman County. Murrow News 8 starts now.
Studios on the campus of Washington State University. This is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Humayun Khurram.
And I'm Cameron Limes. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
The total number of COVID cases in Whitman County is 1,344 after 23 new cases on Thursday. Whitman County Public Health reports that all new patients are stable and quarantined since testing positive. With classes online this semester, some may find it hard to stay focused. Murrow News 8 reporter Isaac Connors has more on the story.
Staring into a screen, joining Zoom lectures, and typing away at a computer for hours on end. This has become the new norm for college students at Washington State University.
Yeah, life is really different, not just because of online classes, like obviously that's different, not walking to classes and not taking the bus or whatever, but having everything closed kind of has changed my entire life.
Since August, college students have been attending WSU online, many of whom are referring to it as Zoom University. While it has taken students some time to adjust to this online learning platform, they are now finding ways to stay organized, stay focused, and pay attention to their online lectures, and learn to the best of their abilities this year.
Currently, I have everything on a calendar. That definitely has helped being organized and just knowing when I have stuff I need to do. And then also just being able to be in contact with friends, help with like accountability and such.
I've been writing my weekly assignments and tests and whatnot above my computer, which is my total workspace, so it's always there to remind me.
While in-person classes show no signs of returning this year, students should look to continue to find new and creative ways to help themselves learn to the best of their abilities and pursue the degree that they have set out to acquire. From Pullman, Washington, I'm Isaac Connors, Murrow News 8.
The Pullman Regional Hospital Foundation Board of Directors named 4 new members. The 4 members include 2 bank branch managers, a retired doctor, a retired WSU faculty member, and a board involved fundraising and allocation of money for Pullman Regional Hospital and its foundation.
Asian giant hornets or murder hornets may be finding a permanent home here in Washington State if they are not contained or eradicated. According to entomologist Dave Crowder, the hornet thrives on warm climates with a high amount of rain and could spread as far as Northern California. Within 20 years, the hornet also poses a larger threat to honeybees than humans. There have only been 10 hornets found in Washington in recent years, but Crowder is asking for public participation to help catch the hornets before they can populate.
A WSU sorority fundraised money for Pullman Regional Hospital doctors and nurses. Murrow News 8 reporter Sydney Garter has more on the story.
Washington State University sororities held a fundraiser over the past week to support the staff at Pullman Regional Hospital and local businesses in the Pullman community.
9 sororities participated in the virtual fundraising event, and we were able to raise just over $5,000 for the 520 hardworking employees at the hospital who have been able to keep us safe during this pandemic.
I'm here in Pullman on Greek Row, and there's not a lot happening as many sororities and fraternities are doing almost everything online, including their fundraising. For this event, sorority members posted graphics on their social media platforms encouraging friends and family to donate to a crowd change page or a Venmo account. They then used that money to buy gift cards from local businesses and plan to give them to the hospital staff. It's simple and easy. With the click of a button, you can donate to a great cause. Assistant Director of Development at Pullman Regional Hospital, Stephanie Pierce, said the staff appreciate the efforts so much and also think it was a great way to give back to the local businesses in the Pullman community who have always been there to support the hospital.
Let's give him the business. Let's give Birch and Barley the business, and Zoe's and all of these other places in town that have given back to the hospital. What a great way to pay it forward. I know that they're struggling because we have so many less people in Pullman now, and without football and all of the other events that bring people to town, it's a great way to give back, and we're just so grateful that we're able to even do that because they're still here, and we're so glad that they're here.
This was a great way for WSU students and their families to show their appreciation for the Pullman community. With Murrow News 8, I'm Sydney Gardner.
Whitman County Sheriff's deputies arrested a 9-time convicted felon Wednesday night after he allegedly broke into a business and stole a firearm. He was booked on charges of unlawful possession of a firearm, second-degree vehicle brawl, theft of a firearm, and second-degree criminal trespassing. He also allegedly broke into a vehicle at another business nearby. That incident is still under investigation.
A rural Moscow fire department put out a fire that destroyed multiple buildings on Wednesday. According to Pullman Moscow Radio, the fire was started by a burn barrel. The fire burned down a barn and other small farmhouses.
Reps gathered at City Hall to applaud city employees in response to anti-mask protests. Every day, around a dozen people representing 5 or 6 different church groups in Moscow have been gathering outside Moscow City Hall to applaud city workers. Participants say that they plan to continue the effort until Election Day. Organizers said that the effort is in response to a series of anti-mask protests and psalm signs hosted by Moscow's Christ Church last week.
A suspect is in custody after a 15-year-old man was killed in a drive-by shooting on East 5th Avenue on Thursday, Spokane police said. Detectives from the Spokane Police Department's Major Crime Unit and other officers found and arrested 20-year-old Elijah James David, who is a suspect in the teen's murder, according to Sergeant Terry Puringer. He also was booked into jail for the first-degree murder and a drive-by shooting.
With COVID still lingering around Pullman, Cougar Health Services is providing free testing for WSU students behind the Cougar Health Services building. Cameron, you just recently got tested for COVID. I want to ask you, what is the process of this COVID testing, and when you went into the hospital, what did they do to you first, and how they are treating patients over there?
Yeah. So how that testing works is at Cougar Health Services, students can walk up and get tested for free as long as you have your Cougar card. You simply walk up to the window while wearing your mask, receive a swab, insert it into your own nose, and the hardworking people running these testing sites will tell you how deep you have to go and how far back you have to go. When you're done, they'll collect your swab and you'll receive your result in the same day. COVID-19 testing is honestly just that easy. Honestly, I highly suggest for more people to get tested, as it's growing around the country. And it's not hard and it's free to us students, so go get tested.
So you had a good experience over there, I'm glad.
Yes.
Coming up, the first state in the United States has lifted their mask mandate.
And who just tested positive for COVID-19? Next.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Days, months,
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
years,
I'd like to give you this.
a lifetime can rush by without realizing what we're missing. We lose some of the best moments, some that may never repeat,
Come on.
or detach from people around us. Our loved ones grow used to this pattern, but it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. It's never too late to live a full life again. Hear how many of us Vietnam veterans have managed our mental health and reconnected with our families. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said Friday that President Trump is experiencing mild symptoms of COVID-19 after the president and First Lady Melania Trump tested positive for the coronavirus. Trump tweeted Thursday evening, quoting, quote, "Tonight, the First Lady and I tested positive for COVID-19. We'll begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately. We will get through this together," end quote.
And an update this morning from ABC News, Joe Biden has tested negative for COVID-19. Biden was tested after the news of President Trump contracting the virus. Joe Biden's wife, Jill Biden, also tested negative for the virus after being in the audience for the debate while wearing a mask. Biden tweeted, "I'm happy to report that Jill and I have tested negative for COVID. Thank you to everyone for your messages of concern. I hope this serves as a reminder, wear a mask, keep social distance, and wash your hands."
Mississippi became the first state in the United States to lift the mask mandate to hold back the spread of the coronavirus as cases fall. Mississippi statewide mask mandate has been placed since August 4th. On Wednesday, Governor Tate Reeves said that the declining number of confirmed virus cases and hospitalizations are positive developments, and that call for the lifting of some restrictions.
Amazon says nearly 20,000 U.S. employees have contracted COVID-19. The announcement, part of a blog post published by Amazon, offers the public first national overview of how the pandemic has hit the company's sizable workforce. According to Amazon's calculations, the company's infection rate is 42% lower than expected based on the general population. The company said it is testing thousands of its employees for COVID-19 every day. With the intention of reaching 50,000 tests a day by November, Amazon and Whole Foods together have almost 1.4 million employees in the United States.
According to Fox News, the New York pink tax ban intended to curb price discrimination between male and female customers. Governor Cuomo said that, quote, "Women and girls will no longer be subject to harmful and unfair price discrimination." The new law mandates that any individual or entity, including retailers, suppliers, manufacturers, or distributors, are prohibited from charging a price of two substantially similar goods or services if the goods or services are priced differently based on gender for whom the goods or services are marketed.
Days after Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron filed a court motion seeking an extension recording of the grand jury proceeding in the Breonna Taylor case was released Friday. An unidentified juror filed a motion earlier this week asking that the judge unseal the transcript and records related to Taylor's death. The 26-year-old emergency medical technician was killed during a police drug raid after officers without a no-knock warrant broke down her front door. Your weather update coming up.
Murrow News 8 reporter Jay McDonald has more on the weather when Murrow News 8 returns.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
According to Creme News, the bugs are back. Every year we see those tiny white gnats that swarm in the air for a few days, maybe a week, and then leave as fast as they appeared. These gnats are called blue ash aphids and are totally harmless. Despite national pushback to law enforcement, reality TV show Cops will be filming in Spokane County. According to Spokane County Sheriff's Office in a news release, the TV show has been writing with Spokane Police since September. According to Creme 2 News, the TV show will continue to ride along and film with Spokane PD until the end of November. It is currently unclear when these episodes will air.
We have Jane McDonald with some weather updates. Jane, where are we looking at weather right now?
Thanks, Humayan. I hope everything is going well in the studio. Well, this morning I looked out the window and it is beautiful. But the big question is, how long will that last? Today, it may be sunny at the moment, but expect some haze rolling through today and tomorrow. Haze can be caused by many things, and it's a little different than a dip in air quality. Most likely, the case for us here on the Palouse is farming, but the recent fires could also be responsible. During a dry season, it's the plows that are likely to kick up some of that dust that farmers are out there harvesting. Be wary if you happen to be driving by one of these fields, since the dust could cover the roads and make visibility a bit of a challenge. A positive, we are looking at some comfortable temperatures around 60 degrees. Moving into tomorrow, like I mentioned, we're still going to be seeing some of that haze lingering, but an uptick in temperature, so a nice trade-off at around 64 degrees. Not to give too much of the forecast away, but Sunday haze should be out of here, so hang in there for today and tomorrow, and Sunday should be looking pretty clear. Looking at the state map, we are not the only ones experiencing some of that darn haze. In fact, the entire state is. Up in Spokane, they'll be socked in for a couple of days, similar to us. For the time being, they are experiencing some sunny skies like we are. Both Spokane and Pullman can expect highs of 80 degrees. The Tri-Cities will also have some haze lingering around, but a key difference is their low temperature, only 61 degrees, whereas in Spokane and Pullman, we're looking at a low of around 50. Taking a peek over at Yakima, you guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, widespread haze. Now, something I mentioned a little earlier in the forecast is that haze can be a product of the wildfire season, specifically over from the west. So regardless of where you are, be wary if you're heading outside. Looking at the western side of the state, Seattle and Olympia have some low air quality actually, so a little more dangerous than haze. So if you have family over there, maybe give them a call. They are experiencing some dangerous levels this morning, and it seems to taper off, but the haze is still lingering around the area. But why focus over on the west side when we could look back here on the local area? So let's take a look back over at our 5cast. It is looking absolutely beautiful, despite that little bit of haze at the beginning of the weekend. Sunday is marking that first haze-free day. When we move into the week, we are seeing some nice, stable temperatures with some clear and sunny skies. Wind speeds are actually looking pretty stable for the rest of the week. The state may be socked in for a couple of days, but we are having a reprieve into next week. Back to you, Humayan.
Thank you, Jane, for the weather update. Coming up, what sporting event will be held in Pullman?
News 8 reporter Andrew Bartline has more on sports when we return.
Days, months,
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
years,
Good? Okay, great.
a lifetime can rush by without realizing what we're missing. But it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tushy dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Some breaking news this morning from CBS reporter John Rothstein. Washington State plans to host its own multi-team event. Multi-team events include non-conference basketball tournaments such as the Maui Invitational. For college hoops, the NCAA allows each team to play in 2 or 3 MTEs a season, pending the length of their stock schedule. The news broke on Twitter. Expect more details to follow soon. Rumors of women's soccer returning this November after previously postponing the season surfaced. But unlike football, those were shot down by the conference. It's confirmed WSU soccer will lace up this spring, eyeing down another strong season. I caught up with WSU soccer coach Todd Schulenberger to learn more. Take a look.
So I don't know the logistics of why the Pac-12 did it. I just know that I'm extremely excited and so pleased to move forward to have a season this spring. And we'll take every opportunity we can to continue and play. And absolutely, we're optimistic and excited. Why wouldn't we be? I mean, there's so much negativity going on around everywhere in this world. Why can't we be excited to know we've got a shot to play in February, to play soccer?
Coach Schulenberger tells me the championship series is set to take place in May in Field 48 as opposed to 64. WSU finished runner-up this season. WSU finished runner-up just a season ago, rather. Former WSU receiver Cassidy Woods took to Twitter explaining pressure to publicly change his stance on the Pac-12 player movement. The movement threatened to boycott the season due to COVID, racial injustice, and other issues. Woods said, quote, "I didn't foresee the pressure that was applied to me to change my stance as part of the Pac-12 Players United group," end quote. Rolovich says he supports those involved with the movement. Woods has entered the transfer portal to leave WSU 3 weeks ago. Spokane native Brett Rippon earned his first NFL start with the Denver Broncos, a 37-28 victory over Sam Darnold's New York Jets. Filling in for an injured Drew Lock, the former Boise State Bronco completed 19 of 31 attempts for 242 yards and a tandem of scores. Though faltering with 3 picks, he trailed 27-25 with just 10 minutes remaining. Rippon righted the ship, marching 40 yards, set up a 31-yard field goal. Rippon spoke with the media postgame. Take a listen.
It's a battle to get wins out here. We had to fight for everything we got. It didn't go right at times, and a lot of things went wrong. And I turned the ball over, and thankfully we were able to come out with a win.
Rippon's expected to start October 11th at New England, pending Lock's recovery. The American League has their division series slate set. The Rays and Yankees face off next to the Astros and Athletics. Oakland's victory over the Chicago White Sox was the first do-or-die victory since the '73 World Series. In the National League, the Braves wait for the Cubs-Marlins series to close. As the Dodgers wait for the Padres-Cardinals Game 3 decision tonight, the Marlins lead the Cubs 1-0 in their series. Catch Game 2 at a 6 p.m. tip-off on ABC. Catch Seattle Storm tonight, the WNBA Finals against the Las Vegas Aces. Seattle most recently won the title in 2018. Their defending efforts were cut short as former MVP Breanna Stewart fell to an injury last season. She's now healthy. Stewart will square off with Washington Husky alum Kelsey Plum, a star of her own with the Aces. Catch that tip tonight at 4 p.m. That's our World in Sports. Cameron?
Thank you so much, Andrew. Coming up, what festival is coming to Pullman this fall, and how will School of Music is still operating through this pandemic?
More on these stories when we return.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread. kiss them all soundly, and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Campus may be quiet, but even during the pandemic, the music hasn't stopped. Murrow News 8 reporter Christian Garza is ready to talk to us about a musical event happening on campus.
Lights, camera, action. Although performing in a main stage production isn't a possibility due to COVID-19 regulations, it hasn't stopped the WSU School of Music's Dr. Julie Wick from trying her hand at producing a virtual show. Her and her cast are willing to put in the effort to turn lemons into lemonade.
I'm going to continue to try and find ways that we can move forward, develop as singer-actors, and be creative.
Opera Workshop is a course provided by the School of Music and has a show in the works that combines two different Mozart classics, the Impresario and the Magic Flute. The show will combine the music, which is in German, from both operas, as well as original dialogue written in English by the cast.
Because of the pandemic, we're doing things that we never would have gotten to do.
The class meets on Zoom every Monday and Wednesday from 3 to 5. They're asked to record themselves singing their solo and ensemble numbers to pre-recorded tracks provided by the class pianist, Elena Panchenko.
It's been challenging, but I think I've just kind of had an attitude of trying to be flexible and just going with it and figuring out how to make the best of every situation, how to make the best of every rehearsal.
The show will be streamed on the School of Music's YouTube channel on November 19th at 7:30. Links to the show will be provided on all of the WSU School of Music's social media platforms. I'm Christian Garza with Murrow News 8.
Thanks for watching. If you missed anything in this or any of our previous newscasts, you can always watch us on our YouTube channel.
For more news can be found at nwpb.org/m8 on Facebook and Twitter. Have a good night.